Okay, Plague isn't usually a happy starting point for an interview, but today it is. I've been joined by Cameron and we're talking about The Black Death, which is a new survival game, sandbox survival game, which is coming to early access sometime this month.
19th of April.
19th of April, you heard it here first, probably not first. But tell us about The Black Death. What is it and what sets it apart from its contemporaries?
So, it's primarily online, but we do have a lot of NPC population. We've got guards. The Black Death is something that actually exists in the game as a thing. It's almost a character in itself. It can grab you, it can infect you. It's not just hunger you're worrying about in this survival game. Infection can be contagious from anything. It could be from a rat. You accidentally eat a bread roll that's got a little bit on it. You got some infected guys, they're begging, and you touch them, and like, oh, I got 1% infection off that. So it's an overpowering kind of thing that moves and guides the player around the map and makes everyone play off each other in such interesting new ways. Professions is quite a large part of our game. We're based in 14th century Europe, so there's just so much lore to choose from to create interesting mechanics. You could argue they're classes, but I like to say professions because they're based on real things, like a peasant. You can be a filthy peasant, just go around stabbing pigs and growing crops or whatever you want to do. You could be a merchant, spend your life creating the finest tools and selling them to these pig stabbing peasants or whatever you want to do. And we have militia. They're a very combat-focused profession, but the NPCs are very good at policing aggressive players. If you're in a big capital city and you're an aggressive militia guy and you're getting drunk in the bar, you can get drunk, by the way. You get drunk in the bar and you start causing a fight and you can pull a shank out and you start doing a guy in, the guards will be on you faster. And you say, no, don't. They'll stop the fight altogether and just end the... So we have a crime system, you could argue. We have a sort of crime system in the game. So we're hoping that will enable the professions to bounce off each other and makes us unique, hopefully. Sets us apart from other experiences you may have felt previously.
We have a demonstration up and running, so you're going to talk us through some of the gameplay features. So let's get started with that.
Sure. So this is our base 3 professions you start with. The advanced professions are unlocked from playing these through first, which is great because it kind of gives everyone the vibe that they want to achieve in the game. Like, are they combat focused? Are they trading focused? Crafting focused? Are they cultivating focused? So the hunter is really good for descending from the peasant. He's focusing on hunting, gathering the meat, the pelt, making the leathers, making the leather trouser armor, that kind of sort of vibe. With a monk, he's descended from the merchant. He's very he's recipe focused. He's the only guy that can combat the plague in a certain way, in his own archaic way. Based on history, they're rubbing themselves in urine and just to prevent the infection. You can't cure the plague in our game. It's permanent infection, but you can prevent it temporarily with the monk's help. So it's nice to have a friend around that's a monk. And obviously the blacksmith, who is really crafting heavy. He's makes the swords, makes the tools, the highest quality armors. He's the militia's best friend in the fight against anybody, really. So that's kind of our base kind of profession system that we have, which, you can unlock ones later on. And we do plan a lot more during early access. So we're gonna go pick a merchant for now, and we'll just play through some basic merchantry activities.
Show us your wares.
You can see that, so yeah. So initially you'll start, as a merchant, we'll start in around towns, around busy places. It's best for them to hang around there. As I said before, the combat efficiency is not great for a merchant. Everyone can take part in combat. We're not taking that away from you. You can defend yourself, and you can defend yourself in really creative ways. Like peasants are very effective with tools, so they can get a sickle and just stick it in your neck, that kind of stuff. So we have to theme the classes in that kind of way. But the merchant, is great for just gathering from their land and just turning into raw materials, turning into more expensive materials. The peasant's better at gathering, he's faster, he's got more space, but the merchant's the one that can turn it into something that's valuable. So for instance, we're just going to go around and we're going to gather some sticks, stick bushes. Everything in our world has value. We're quite excited that we're one of the only experiences, I think, survival-wise, that has an economy system. So everything you pick up has a price on it. And right now, you can take some sticks and stones and we turn it into a crude pickaxe, and that's going to double its value. And you can sell that, or you can use it. Everything has 3 grades of quality: crude, standard, and greater, which basically means either it does more damage, lasts longer, or you get more resources from using it. I think right now we're going to try and find a utility after we've got enough resources and actually craft a pickaxe. Now, utilities are scattered all around the world. People are used to creating utilities from scratch, but we've liked to keep the world quite like visually presented all the time, so everything's around you. So you'll find grinding wheels for crafting scattered around the towns and stuff like that. You can't actually build houses in our game, but you can buy them just to feed back into that economy system. So, for instance, if you find a cheap house, it's very cheap to buy. You can just store your stuff in there. You can sleep in the bed. It helps with the fatigue, that kind of thing. So looking after your house is always good. And you inherit your house if you die. So, when you die, we do have permadeath, but it's not the end of the world. You do inherit some skills that you unlocked. And we'll show you some skill tree right now. Everything in the game can give you experience points. Gathering, crafting, killing. So you don't have to go for a slowly mercenary style living life. You can just craft and then you can just get better at it. That's what we want to push the players. If they love that style of survival game, we can just let them craft. Some people don't want to take part in combat, and that's absolutely fine in our game. So right here you can see we can also improve things like endurance. There are lots of little things like that. But primarily the merchant skill tree, they're all unique per class. But the merchant skill tree is very focused around getting better recipes, better stuff you can make, better stuff you can sell. It's all about benefiting the economy for a merchant.
So how many people can you see playing this together? What kind of, because the people who play these kind of games, they tend to kind of go in with friends and set up their own communities. What are you trying to facilitate here?
So we're looking for pretty substantial amount of players. We're looking at 100 players starting off in launch as a server cap. We do want to allow people to create their own servers as well. If they want to get inventive, we want to try and have some options where you can adjust maybe the value of everything, or maybe you want to make sure there's no killing at all. If you want a complete PvE server, we're going to try and make sure that maybe player-to-player contact isn't involved at all. We have lots of stuff planned in the roadmap for early access to help people. We actually have a guild update that we plan as well, where people can just get together and just buy a castle together and just do whatever they want to create their own little family of militia, whatever they want to do, band together. So we're constantly talking to the community about any ideas that they have that want to facilitate that behavior, because role-playing, key thing is people interaction with other people.
Okay, what can you tell us about the game world then? Because obviously the Black Death, the period of history that you've chosen to examine, I mean, that is a very evocative period of history, and there's a lot going on. There's obviously a lot of freedom for you to explore as well. What are you trying to build?
So 40th century Europe is obviously very famous for the plague, but it's also famous for extremely bad weather. And we've kind of tried to hit that tone in our game. Like, it's miserable. You won't see the sun for days in our game. Apparently they said it's 100 years of rain. So we're going to have that, get some rain in there. Just pig poo everywhere. We want that vibe, just like British, disgusting, bodies are in carts, bring out your dead, that Monty Python made famous kind of vibe. Obviously we're quite serious, not going completely comedy. We're going to kind of keep it dialed back. Death is never nice. So we're going to treat that with respect. But generally that's the world. Like, you're reminded every minute how depressing 14th century peasantry life was. And not everyone's a hero. That's the key of the game. You are a peasant. You will experience that type of life.
I would have said, aren't you worried that you're going to depress your audience with such a bleak game? But people love this kind of really gritty survival sandbox, so I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue for you.
I think that's the best genre we could try it in. I wouldn't want to try it for a single player experience where you just suffer for on your own. I think this is the only genre that really allows us to take the reins on that sort of depressing tone.
Okay, so we're in one of the towns at the moment.
The capital city.
The capital city. What can you tell us about this kind of these kind of built-up areas?
So yeah, these are the ones that I mentioned are really full of NPCs and safe to an extent. Like the market stall, the guard areas are all great. These little alleyways, I wouldn't recommend going down them on your own. Lots of shifty characters. Beware of the beggars. They're probably plague-ridden as well. So lots of things like with chickens, as you probably hear clucking in the background. They're the king's chickens though, so killing them, the guards will be on top of you very fast.
Don't kill the chickens.
Not inside the town. Go outside the town and kill the chickens you want. Yeah, lots of population. We have some conversation trees as well with merchants and stuff like that. You can interact in certain ways. The tavern's going to be a popular destination, I believe. We have ale, so you can get drunk in the game. It replenishes hunger as well, so it has a justified being. Like, that's what I love about the stuff in the game. Like, we always go back to but does it help you? And yes, it does. Like, it's a hunger system, so therefore I'm getting better replenishment, nourishment, and so forth. So we always come back to that. Like, yeah, that's a cool feature, but does it help you in the long run? And that's what the state's full of stuff like that.
How deep do you go with the crafting and and the recipes and all that stuff? How deep do you go?
We're over a couple of hundred different craftable items. We're proud of that. It's quite layered, so we have the utility system, which you replace throughout the world, and with the crude standard and greater quality of everything, like that layers everything 3 times over. You have one guy who can make a crude sword, but one guy can make a fine greater sword, and that therefore is worth more money. And that ties so well with crafting. I'm really surprised that I haven't seen that more often, that what you craft, is it worth more than the previous one? And can I sell it and make money and then buy something that's even better? That's the kind of, I love about our crafting system is everything's layered up 3 times over with benefits in damage or durability or value.
Okay, so you're releasing onto early access in the coming weeks. Beyond, success and riches, what are you hoping to how are you hoping live to start for the game when it's out with the public?
We hope that it gets enough feedback and enough reception that we can just start working on that first update, because we've got so much planned for it. It's a massive world that can be filled up. Everything from extending the actual world bounds, like make it larger, to like releasing new professions such as the knight. Our first update, the horse update, we're going to be really keen on that. You can buy and ride horses everywhere in the world. And feedback, general feedback, because role playing doesn't work without the players getting involved and telling us what they want. Like I want to go and shove that guy. Okay, we'll find a shove mechanic and we'll just like test them. And we'll see how you feel with that. Any ideas you have, just let us know. And that's what we're really excited about the coming weeks for early access.
Well, unless there's anything else that you need to show us.
Wouldn't mind showing you the combat system.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do some combat.
Yeah.
Start a fight with someone. Go on.
Let's show the effectivity of our guards.
Okay.
So we're going to pull a weapon right in the middle of the town with the intent of smashing the merchant's head in and taking him for his apples, right? And we'll show how efficient you can be protected from aggressive players. So this guy here, we'll run past that guard. That guy there's looking pretty good for a shifty kill in there. So tools can be used as weapons as well, which is great. Straight away it shows like a 3-stance system. Yeah. The merchant's gone, he's left, he got out of there. And the only way we can avoid being killed here is not getting flanked or get out of town. The only way, they'll only stop when you leave town.
Okay.
And you can come back in.
Do they have how long term is their memory?
They're a little bit like a fish.
Okay.
We do want to adapt the crime system so they do have bounties and they kind of remind themselves of oh, there you go.
Okay, so with that undignified death there at the gate, I think that's a good place to end the interview. Good luck with the rest of the development and with the early access process.
Thank you very much.
And we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.